Hi, this is Mariah Gullo from The Hollywood Reporter, and I'm here with Rupert Friend from Homeland.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm great. I am here to talk to you about the season finale of Homeland, and if you have any questions for Rupert, please leave them in the comments below. The season finale is April 9th.
So what happens is... Not that easy. Go on.
I wanted to talk a little bit about season 6, but before I do that, let's talk about season 5, because you were supposed to die in season 5.
Yes.
Can you tell me about how all that went down?
Yeah, I mean, we ended the season, in a hospital. Had quite an easy time, sort of lying there. And then Alex said, this has been great, and gave me a hug and said, thanks for all your hard work. And then I sort of, start making holiday plans and, booking flights and stuff. And then it's like, actually, don't, oh, hang on. No, don't do anything. And also don't cut your hair.
And then you were given a whole lot of new acting chops to work on in this season because your character has gone through a transition.
Yeah.
You had to deal with a stroke and post-traumatic stress disorder.
And paralysis and aphasia and speech apraxia and, a bunch of things.
Mm-hmm. What was that like for you? Did you enjoy kind of being able to have a little more range than the usual CIA assassin mode?
Yeah, I mean, it was fascinating to sort of take a known and certainly by me beloved character and completely rediscover them and realize that they were having to deal with a whole new set of circumstances that were unfamiliar, mentally and physically, and taking somebody that you've known and loved and then sort of giving them all of this to deal with is quite traumatic in a way because, I guess over the years I have grown incredibly fond of this guy, and so seeing what he had to go through was at times quite difficult.
Mm-hmm. Are you method?
Well, I've never really known what that is. Did I go home doing that, do you mean? No. No. I love the magic of what we do, I don't really know how it happens. I'm grateful when it does, but for me it's less of a logic and more of a magic.
Mm-hmm. And, when you had to get back into the action sequences again after kind of making this transition, did you play your character a little differently? Did you have to, kind of add more subtlety into the role?
Well, I think you can't really keep a good man down, if that's the expression, and I think somewhere inside of him is that this highly trained, lethal operative. Somewhere deep inside, those skills were always there. And, I imagine that when he was first kind of awoken from this coma and realized he couldn't use half of his body, there was probably a lot of despair and the sense of feeling of wanting to give up. And we see that played out in the beginning of the season a little bit. He's kind of just getting high, getting wasted, and normally means people are sort of giving up the will to live. But I think when he realizes that even with only one hand and one leg, he's pretty much better than everybody else anyway. There's a little bit of I got this, and I felt happy for him.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. So I wanted to talk a little bit about working with Claire. There's a special relationship between your two characters. Do you know what shipping is?
What shipping?
Yeah.
It's taking things from one place to another off over a body of water. No?
Shipping is when...
super out of touch, right?
It's nothing dirty, I promise.
Okay.
It's when fans of a show want to be the first people on social media to call that two characters are going to be romantically involved.
Ah, okay.
You've never heard of that?
No. So they predict?
Yes.
Like you predicted that guy's Oscar?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Emmy, as you put it. No, I didn't. I've not heard of that. So you placed an imaginary bet?
I assume that fans of Homeland are probably placing some imaginary bets
on me and Max.
Yes.
Getting together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a fair bet. Handsome guy, very capable, has a dark side. I think would be a great pair. A little bit odd couple, but could work.
I see. Do we have any questions?
Yes. Kate says, I think this season your acting has been pretty amazing. Which season has been your favorite to film, though?
Thank you for the question. Did everyone hear the question? Do I have to say it again?
Yeah, well, I can repeat it for
Okay.
them. Yeah, what has been your favorite season of film?
Hands down, this one.
Yeah.
This is the most moving kind of relationship with an imaginary person that I've ever had.
Yeah, well, you feel very close to your character. So I had a question about about the season finale.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people are going to be left wondering things for the rest of the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us a hint? I know you can't say anything, but can you give us a hint about whether we will be wondering who, what, when, why, or how?
Definitely, without shadow of a doubt, all of them. There's no question that all of those questions will go through your minds. And I think, you know, not having seen it, obviously, only having read it, that there is something of an unveiling of people's true characters about the season finale. What really makes them who they are, the metal of them. I think that's what the final episode explores.
Okay. I wanted to talk a little bit about Alex's, your showrunner, Alex, his desire to never film anything that couldn't happen in reality. I assume that a lot of the times he's adjusting the script based on what's happening for current events.
Yeah.
How does that affect you and your character?
Well, it's amazing because I don't think any of us really knew what, in Quinn's storyline, what he could or couldn't do, partly because they hadn't written it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was sort of trying to understand the limits of his physical impairment, my questions were very practical. You know, what can he do and what can't he do? And nobody was really sure, myself included. So there's been a huge amount of improvisation where it's, you know, Quinn unloads the bullets from a gun and then picks a lock and then climbs over a wall, and okay, well then we're doing that with one hand, and then we just figured out the truth of it. And I think Alex, I know Alex is incredibly interested in supporting the truth of any given situation, whether that's, you know, the idea of fake news, or the idea of betrayal, or the idea of an incumbent president losing faith in their intelligence community. You know, he's trying to find the truth within these slightly extreme scenarios.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what's going on in the other plot lines, or do you kind of stick to what's happening in your own?
No, I know. I mean, I read the scripts are so beautifully written, and they're one of my favorite bits about the show is reading each script. They really are masterful works of drama. So I really look forward to seeing what everyone else is up to, and you know, if I were to watch it, that would be what I'd be most interested in.
Do we have another question?
Yes. Jennifer wants to know, what's your favorite thing about working with Claire Danes?
Oh, what's your favorite thing about working with Claire Danes?
It's like playing tennis with someone who is very accomplished. It makes you raise your game, and that's always a pleasure. She's very focused. She knows exactly what she wants, and that comes across in the work, I think.
You've played a few historical characters in the past, and I believe you're about to play Lenin?
No, I would like to play Lenin one day, but no, I'm playing Stalin's son.
Oh, okay.
In a film by Armando Iannucci, who made Veep.
Oh,
and he's made a dark comedy about Stalin's death, which sounds really unfunny, but knowing Armando as I do, I'm sure it'll be very funny. And it also stars Michael Palin and Paul Whitehouse and some of my absolute heroes. Jeffrey Tambor, Steve Buscemi, lots of amazing people in it.
Do you have a method for researching your roles, whether it is like a fictional character or a non-fiction?
Yeah, every single one has been different for me. You know, it's some combination of imagination and research, and somewhere in the middle of that, this magical thing happens, or you hope it does.
If there is a role that you haven't played yet, is there something that you would love to do?
I would love to do a voice for an animated film of some kind. I'd be way more interested in not using my own voice and making one up.
Trying something new.
And some kind of completely impossible to imagine character that somebody dreams up with me. It'd be great.
How many accents have you been able to
How many can I
perform
do?
correctly? You have a wonderful American accent.
Thank you.
Do you play around with other accents, or have you had to in the past?
Yeah, every day, every morning. So I start my day just doing voices. That's actually true. So I love accents.
Mm-hmm. Is there any accent that you would love to perfect?
Well, my wife's favourite is Scottish. That's the one that I do as a kind of treat.
Yeah, that's a good one. We have another question.
On that note on accents, Elizabeth says you do a spot-on American accent. Do you have an ear for it, or did you have a coach?
I did not have a coach. That one was the Quinn's voice was sounds super voodoo and weird, but I just heard it and then did it. If that makes sense. But yeah, it's if there's accents you'd like, Mariah to try, then text them in, and you'll have a go, and I'll give you a score.
Yeah, that's right. That's how we're gonna wrap. Yeah, you don't want to hear my accents. Trust
Can you
me.
do any? No. But you've got an English one. Most Americans have an English accent.
I do.
Go on then.
Rupert has to do the Scottish accent.
Okay.
All right, so
yes.
I'll ask you in
first,
Scottish. I'll ask you in Scottish. Would you
Yeah.
mind for a moment giving me just the smallest wee bit of your English accent?
I'm British.
Right, that's 2 words. I'd like a whole phrase, if you don't mind.
I'm British. Please.
Okay, there you have it.
Oh,
good.
thank you.
Very good.
Thank you so much. Okay, so the typical question we give to a young actor is, do you ever think of directing? Or, forgive my ignorance, if you have ever directed.
I have. I directed a short film that I wrote starring Colin Firth, which is called Steve, and you can get it on iTunes. And I'm actually in development for my first feature film,
That's wonderful.
which we're going to shoot next year.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. And Homeland is on Showtime at 9 p.m. April 9th, season finale. Watch Rupert. Hopefully he will survive. I have a feeling he will, but that's all I will say. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.